Soul family, I want to share this topic because I just had this upload to my mind, heart, and soul. I really wanted to share about the topic about living in fear. So, majority of individuals in the country of USA live in fear, right? We all know about police brutality. We know about the white supremacy government systems. We know that, right? We know that. But most importantly, a lot of things that's not talked about is a lot of the melanated nationality groups in the country of USA, whether they're melanated Puerto Ricans, melanated Jamaicans, melanated Ghanaian people, melanated Liberians, any nationality of melanated people in the country of USA that's from like the Generation X of the 1960s, 1970s, and all that. Look, they always be the ones that be living in fear, right? Living in the past, right? And it could go so deep to the point like these Generation X melanated people, where they're like melanated fathers or melanated mothers, they'll have these Generation Z children that's like birth in like 1994 all the way to 2003. And look, these melanated fathers and melanated mothers that's not spiritually awake, that's from the Generation X era, they'll be in a country like USA and could be living in states like Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, and be living in fear, fearing about what's going to happen to their melanated children, right? Just because of some evil feminist or evil colorist person or evil racist person that might be amongst in that country, right? And that's not a good thing to be having, right? Because I told my own mother, right? I told my own mother, like, if you live in fear, like it brings negative, realities to what you think about, right? And a lot of people underestimate this stuff, right? It's like, so let's say, for example, let's say if I was to think about negative things, right? That would just come into my existence if I keep thinking about negative things. But I don't give the enemy, aka the demon, archon, energy, vampire, slave owners what they want, which is living in fear, thinking about negativity, right? Because that's not something that we spiritual beings are supposed to do, right? I could tell my mother that stuff like 24/7 every day, but I already know, like, Generation X people that are melanated, that grew up in USA, that were transported slaves to that slave owner corporation country, treating humans in general as social security numbers. Nothing I can say can help her, right? But I can say this, right? I notice, like, the people who get their energy upgrades in the sun and Mother Nature and connect with animals, connect with the whole cosmos, like we're supposed to do. I notice how those individuals don't be living in fear compared to the people who just, they get up on a scheduled day to go to a corporation place at a building or whatever corporation place that they work at, and then they come home stressed out because of how the way a nasty boss is, or bills, or whatever situation it might be at a corporation place, right? And look, man, I noticed like people that literally work out and people that literally athletically work out, bro, sister, like, they be so spiritually in tune, they don't be living in fear. They might see something negative, right? But they don't give a negative reaction to it, right? And feed into it and just give up on everything, right? So, like, I'll tell you this, like, the people I've seen people on Instagram and TikTok and all these social media platforms, like the people that's doing taekwondo, capoeira, and all that, bro, sister, like, they really give the energy that they don't be living in fear, right? They don't really fear no demon, right? They don't fear no demon, energy, vampire out here, right? Because they know, like, their existence has so much special things to offer, right? And that's the things that we spiritual beings, that's what we learn when we do things that was in our DNA to do. Like, our humanoid extraterrestrials were made to work out, right? Because our bodies were made to do that. We're made of solar energy. We're made of electrolytes and neutrons and protons, right? They don't teach you this at churches. They don't teach you this in USA. This information is in African countries. It is in Asian countries. It is in the Caribbean countries. But, it's very sad though, man. Like, because a lot of these Generation X parents in the country of USA, they don't realize if they give off a live in fear vibration, that's gonna pass off to their children, whether it's a daughter or a son, bro. And I'm like, dang, like do these Generation X parents that are melanated, that are like fathers and mothers of the Generation X, even be aware of this? Do they be consciously aware and subconsciously aware that they could, any energy they give off, it can pass off to their own children, whether it's a daughter or a son, right? So, you know, this is something that the millennials and the Generation Z parents have figured out to not do, right? Even though it's a few percentage of Generation Z and melanated parents in USA that do be living in fear, for the few percent, but majority of them, they figured it out to not live in fear, and like, because they know like it can like rub off on their own children, right? You know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And the thing is to like, the main people who always worried about a lot of stuff, these tend to be religious people, right? They worship Jehovah, they worship Jesus, Lord Yashin, whoever it is, right? But they don't really be about it. But they talk about these saviors so much and listen to so much gospel music, right? You would think that these people would not ever have a negative thought in their days ever, you know. And it shocked me, right? It shocked me when I first experienced this, and it opened me up to realize, you know, these religions is not saving a lot of our Generation X people. It actually destroyed them, all right? Because like, you know, because when I see a lot of woke religious people, especially like those woke religious people that are like the fathers and mothers of a Generation Z daughter or a Generation Z son, and their Generation Z daughter and Generation Z son sees that their Generation X parent that might be worshiping Jehovah or Jesus, right? But then, you know, when it comes to these so-called negative situations, you know, somehow, some way, you know, these Generation X parents, they just see these situations in a slave owner narcissistic society to be more powerful than some Jesus or Jehovah or whoever they might be worshiping, right? And I'm looking at them and be like, you know, your savior is supposed to be more powerful than these negative situations that's being formed by these demons out here, right? I'm just saying, you know, these are things I'll be observing, you know, these are things I'll be seeing every day, soul family. I see this all the time. Like me, I'm not one of these woke religious people. I don't like the woke community. I don't put myself in that. But I tell you this, right? A lot of people would think that I'm religious just because I don't feed like fear to any negativity that these evil energy vampire demons be trying to like put on the whole planet called Earth, right? Or any planet in this multiverse, right? And when I tell people I'm not religious, or family relatives I'm not religious, they be shocked, you know? They be shocked that I'm not religious, but I always look at things on a positive note, right? I don't try to look at things and have a fear-based mindset, because imagine having to worry about like where you're gonna live and where you're gonna go and all that stuff, bro. And just because of some evil colorist, evil racist, or evil feminist has tried to make lies about you to try to get you in trouble, bro, that's not a good way to live, you know? Because at that point, we might as well commit suicide if we're gonna live in fear, worrying about what an evil feminist, an evil colorist, or evil racist person tries to do to us. And we real spiritual people, we don't focus on the negative at all.